Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another weekly wrap-up for the week that was, and we are talking about the week ending 30th of November 2023. And for us in Ontario, a momentous week. We got our first snowstorm of the winter, where we are about 4 or 5 inches of snow, which needed clearing and made the roads somewhat slippery and very cold, -8 degrees Celsius. So I had to cut short my walk yesterday morning, but today the sun's shining, so we're all happy. Anyway,
Absolutely.
hi, Kathleen. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's the sun is shining today. Oh, you feel so much better, don't you, when the sun is shining? It's lovely.
Good. Yes, it certainly makes it a difference. So we had, excuse me, we published an episode on Tuesday, and our guest was Jimmy Burroughes. Jimmy's got an interesting background. He was in the corporate world and worked in many places, New Zealand and Hong Kong, the two that I can recall. And he was in commercial banking for a while. And he saw at firsthand the effects of burnout and stress on senior management and executives, and eventually he decided to do something about it. So he took time out and he went traveling, and he settled in Mexico, where he runs his consulting business. And what he does is he helps executives avoid burnout and deal with stress by coming up with better systems of working and working on priorities. One of the horrifying statistics he told us is that many senior executives have to deal with between 200 and 300 emails every day, and that's in addition to their other responsibilities. And I don't get that many working on my own, and I still find it a huge burden to keep on
And the
top
other
of.
thing, Peter, there's no shutting it off, right? Because of technology these days, there's just you're not getting away from it. It's not back in the old days, in the older days, where you worked your hours and then you went home and you forgot about work. Hopefully,
That's
forgot
right.
about work, and then that was your family time. It created much more of a home life, work life balance. Nowadays, you take home your mobile phones and you're still getting your emails. You're still connected. You can't disconnect unless
That's
you
right.
you make a mental effort to disconnect. So he offered some fabulous tips about that.
That's right. And while we're on the subject of Jimmy Burrows, in our newsletter, he is our featured author of the week. He has a book called Beat Burnout and Ignite Performance. And there's a link to get that book on in our weekly newsletter. And it looks pretty good. I think I'm going to get that and have a look myself. And then let's talk about the guests coming next week. And we have two guests on the episode together. It's Damien Roux and Christopher Bradley. Damien is the founder, and Christopher is the English language marketing guy for a company called Drimify, and they deal with gamification, which was an intriguing topic. They were talking about how you can use various games to engage your customers. Kathleen, you quite enjoyed that one too, didn't you?
Really did. I really did. You know what? When I was hearing them talk, I didn't realize how much of that we use or how much that we see on the internet. For instance,
Hmm.
you may go to a website, and I was giving the example of going to buy some makeup, and then you click on a little wheel that says spin the wheel and see what your discount is. All of that
Hmm.
is part of gamification. It's an effort to try and engage the clients and make it fun for them. And it's really clever. It's clever how it's done, and very effective. I mean,
Hmm.
I can't remember what the statistics were, but I mean, it increases revenue by millions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Staggering.
No, it's. I thought it was really good, and some of their games are amazing. What they're really creative the way they've thought these games up. So that we had a good discussion on that one. So if you're looking for another angle to improve your revenue, increase your revenue, and improve your marketing, have a look at that episode coming up Tuesday of next week. So while we're on the business side, I read this morning Mark Schaefer's latest post. Mark's one of the top marketers in the world, recognized internationally, and it's a provocative title. It says, Ignore Your Customer. Now, I know that sounds horrendous at first sight, but what he's saying is if you try and change your own values and ideas to suit an audience, you probably won't succeed. If you are true to yourself and find an audience that gels with your values and ideas, you might do a lot better. But it's more complicated than that. The other thing in his post that struck me was at a recent conference, something like only 30% of marketing people had even tried ChatGPT. The other 70% had ignored it. And his message is, if you don't wake up and start using these new tools, you're going to be left way behind. So that's one that's really worth watching. There's a link if you go to our weekly video and watch this. There's a link in the description below. The other business one that I saw was controversial for some people. I think it makes sense. Is the headline in the Toronto Sun: woke book publishers suffering financially. And they give an example of somebody who changed from one gender to the other, said he did or she did, was paid $3 million advance to write a book, and it's only sold 62,000 copies. And there's several more examples of people paid, and these are people who I think are novice authors, haven't been published before, and they were paid between 250 and 500,000 bucks, and some of the books only sold 2,000 or 3,000 copies. So you know what the financial loss those publishers are taking.
Huge hit.
Yeah. So it just shows you sometimes you must be careful before you jump onto ideological bandwagons, as you might very well end up under the wagon wheels, so to speak. Then we got some health, interesting health topics. Shall I carry on, Kathleen, or do you want to?
Go ahead, Peter. Go ahead. I'll chime in.
And again, links to all these are in the description below. Italy, the first Western country to ban fake foods. Yes. So they've said anything that's created in a laboratory cannot be called food.
Yes.
I agree. And not only that, anything that's made from vegetable matter cannot be called meat. So you can't have tofu burgers because burgers is associated with beef, for instance, or and those fines are quite hefty. It's $160,000, I think, or euros for the first offence, and they have the power to close your business down. So that was an interesting one.
What are your thoughts about these cricket farms? There's one that is not very far from where you are, Peter, located.
That's right.
In Ontario, and the government has given this facility millions of dollars to expand, and it's folks, crickets. Do you want to eat crickets? Jeez.
Anyway. I think they'll have a hard time becoming commercially viable. Having lived in Africa, I'm not totally against eating insects. I've eaten flying ants. They're delicious, believe me. Mopani worms, dried and salted, staple diet for many people in Africa. Grasshoppers. I had grasshoppers and they tasted just like frog's legs to me. So it's not all wrong, but
then
those are staple.
Frog's legs apparently taste a lot like chicken. So
chicken, yeah, that's right.
Why bother? Just eat the chicken.
The point is those are staple foods for people maybe throughout Africa, certainly in southern Africa. They've been eating those things for thousands of years, right? They've adapted to them. Sure. It's part of their normal diet. Just like people in other parts of the world have stuff that we can't tolerate.
And I respect that, Peter. It's
sure.
Not been part of our diet.
That's not part of the Western European diet. And I think they'll have a hard time. Maybe a few people will jump in because
but you know
of novelty
what, Peter?
value.
They're already sneaking these ingredients in.
Sure.
Absolutely. I've saw it on juice boxes where they put it under a different name, but it's exactly what that is. It's
insect protein. So
look at the ingredients,
that's a tough one.
Look at the ingredients on the products that you are purchasing and consuming. That's
right. So I saw another really interesting article on the vagus nerve, and I have certain issues of my own that I've been studying, and that's gave me a lot of interest. It's a really important nerve and has all sorts of, if it's damaged, has all sorts of complications for everything from your heart to your digestive system. So that's worth looking at. Another one, the gut-brain axis, is being studied by more and more researchers, and they're finding a link to dietary problems or digestive problems adding to depression. So that might be self-evident, but it was an interesting one to read. And that was my interesting reading of the week that I wanted to pass on to everybody, Kathleen. So over to you for your bit.
Oh, well, Peter, have we got a special guest coming up? And yes, we've got in the new year, probably in early January, we'll probably publish this. But oh my gosh, folks, we're so stoked about this particular guest. We are going to be interviewing Dr. Morse himself. And as you know, we are huge advocates of Dr. Morse's clinic. He has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide reclaim their health. And he is a superstar in my eyes. And I'm just absolutely overwhelmed with having him on our show. We're so honored to have him. And today, I just want to give Dr. Morse's products another plug, because I am also one of his clients, biggest clients, actually. I don't know, but I've got some of his products here. And what we want to promote today is his ultimate detox kits. And if you go to his website right now, you can get up to $1,000 off on his detox kits. And when I say detox, I'm talking about a full body cleanse. We're talking about these kits help to guide your body's natural detoxification process to unclog all channels of elimination, flush toxins from your system, and revitalize the body's organ systems and functioning. So that's what we're trying to do with some of these products. So that would involve, some kidney cleanses, so tinctures that you would put in a little bit of water and consume. They're not bad tasting. And so lymphatic drainage as well. There's some parasite cleanse, and this is part of the detox. We all have parasites, folks. That's just the way it is. And these help to get rid of the bad parasites. So that's a bit of a plug there for Dr. Morse's products. We will put a link in this video that you can access that website and hopefully get some great discounts.
Yeah, that's really good. And Kathleen and I were having quite a discussion before we started recording the show as to whether cleansing one's insides will help on the outside of one's body. And Kathleen convinces me it's all connected, and that we can't get, for instance, healthy skin until we've got the inside of our body and the whole system right. So there's another reason for detoxing if you've got problems you might think are not associated with the whole of your body. Anyway, that's enough for me. As always, you're watching this. If you want to get updates on our guests that are coming in the near future, sign up and join our community. There's a form on the website. We only send you one email a week, and then at least you'll be in the picture of all our new guests. So from me, thank you and goodbye. Back to Kathleen to finish it off.
Oh, thank you again for tuning in, and we so appreciate having you. If anyone is actually interested in being a guest on our show, we invite you to visit us at theyakkingshow.com. All you need to do is click on the Contacts tab, where you will find a short application form. So until next time, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.